Hey, what's up, guys? How we doing? Um, so I was watching the Cardinals play the Reds a few days ago, and there was a bunt by Johnny Cueto, and I wanted to put a video up because I've gotten asked a lot from both sides of it. I've got a lot of people asking me about bunt defenses and what are some bunt defenses used at the major league level, and then I've also got asked about offensively about bunting. So I figured this would be a good time to shoot out a video to you guys so we can kind of go over both things. So I'll play the video here. What we have is a man on second. Johnny Cueto's up at the plate. He's trying to bunt. The Cardinals put on basically this defense usually is just a regular bunt defense. Usually bunt defense one is what you'll see from most teams. Most college and pro teams use a similar, play number one. So we'll go through it right here. Okay, so we got a couple of different angles from it. So let's talk about it from a few different perspectives. First, we'll talk about it from defensive perspective. So we got a man on second base. We're looking to get an out. We got nobody out. We expect the bunt because the pitcher's up. So we have our, let's just call it play number one. So what you're going to do is first baseman is going to charge. You can see him creeping in here. He knows it's a bunt. Here he comes charging hard once he sees the batter square and he sees Wainwright go into his delivery. So he's going to be charging hard this way. Pitcher on this play is going to be breaking. He's going to have third base side. The third baseman plays it on the grass and he's going to read it. So if the ball's bunted really hard at him, then he's going to charge the ball, throw to first base. If the ball if the ball's bunted hard at him or down the line. If the ball is not bunted hard at him or down the line, he's going to retreat to third base. The pitcher is got the third base line, so hopefully the batter will bunt it to either the pitcher or to the first baseman. They'll pick the ball up, throw it to third base for the lead out. Second baseman is going to cover first. Shortstop is going to cover second. Typically, shortstop plays behind. Everyone does a little bit differently. Some teams will use the pitcher will look at him. He'll break hard to short, yell back, or excuse me, break hard to second, yell back. The pitcher will deliver the ball. So we're just trying to get this guy to stay close so we can hopefully get him at third base. So from an offensive standpoint, anytime there's a man on second base and you're bunting, you want to bunt the ball to the third baseman. You want to get him to charge the ball and field it because if you bunt it to the third baseman, they cannot get an out at third base. If you bunt it to the pitcher or to the first baseman, well, then it can be an easy out at third base, especially where the Reds have a catcher on on second base right now. So I'll run this again and we'll just kind of keep talking. Now, some of the keys to bunting the ball to third base and not to the pitcher or to first base is you have to get a pitch to do it with. And in this case, Johnny Cueto tries to bunt an outside fastball to the third baseman, and he's not able to do it. If we put it back real quick, he gets a ball that's thrown. So here's the pitch. You can see how he tries to reach out for it. This ball is probably on the outside edge, maybe right on the black, it looks like almost. And so you can see him kind of jab out there, try to get out and bunt it, and he can't get out there in time, and he bunts it right back to the pitcher. So it's important to get a good pitch to bunt, and I believe this was an 0-0 pitch. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember, but I thought it was early in the count. Obviously, if it's later in the count and you got to get the bunt down, then that's fine. But early in the count, you want to try to get a ball maybe middle in, ball easier, bunt to third base, so that you don't bunt it back to the pitcher. Um, okay, so that's the idea of it, both defensively and offensively. And let's watch it one more time. Here's a good view of the third baseman for all you third basemen out there. So you can see The third baseman is going to read. He's going to read it. If it's bunted hard at him or to the line, he will come and get the ball. If it's bunted anywhere else, bunted back to the pitcher, you'll see he reads it. Okay, back to the pitcher. He turns. He finds the bag. He gets back to the bag. He turns as quickly as he can. Catch the ball. Put down the tag. So you can see he's straddling the bag right there. In good position to catch and drop the tag on the base runner. Another thing defensively from the pitcher's perspective is, the first key when as a pitcher, when there's a bunt, your first job is to throw a strike. They're going to give you an out. You want to take the out. So you throw a strike, and then as soon as you throw a strike, you get to your landmark wherever it is. So in this case, typically it's going to be third base line or third base side. He gets there quick. He feels the ball. He stays low in his legs. And you want to think about staying low in your legs, having a short arm circle, and making a really good throw. Now this shows the importance of working on PFPs as a pitcher, because a lot of this stuff, pitchers usually have long arm circles, and they're not used to doing a lot of this stuff. So that's why it's so important to be practicing it during practice. If you ever went to a major league spring training, you would see pitchers working on PFPs every single day. Obviously, when you're younger, it's a little bit tougher to work on it every day, but you should try to work on it at least once a week at least. If you're younger than that. If you're in college, well, then you're probably going to work on it multiple times a week as well. But just make sure you're getting in some of this work, because it's really, really important. This stuff's going to happen late in the game. It's going to be a really big part of the game. So you have to work on it. Here's another good angle that we really haven't talked about yet, so you can see. And one of the reasons I made this video is because they had all these pretty cool angles. You can see the first baseman in, getting ready to charge. You can see the third baseman in, reading it. Second baseman's cheating a little bit to first base. Shortstop's playing basically right behind the runner at second, trying to keep him close. Here's the delivery. First baseman, you can see breaking. Third baseman reads, gets back. Second baseman busts at the first base. Shortstop takes second base. And he's out by a mile. So really, the only way to have this play work when you have such a slow runner at second base, you've got a catcher who's a really slow catcher, is you got to get the ball to the third baseman. That's your only chance. And as a base runner on second base, you have to be careful, because you want to get a secondary lead. You want to be aggressive reading the ball on the ground, but you also have to watch out, because a lot of times what happens is you take an aggressive secondary lead, the ball is bunted through, and typically on a ball that's bunted through, you'll see a catcher. A lot of teams, any ball bunted through, the catcher's going to come up throwing to second base. Just because as a base runner, you have that aggressive secondary lead. You might get leading a little bit. You kind of anticipate the ball being bunted on the ground. It's not, and now the catcher comes up and throws you out at second base. So, although you have to be aggressive, you have to be careful. And anything that's bunted through, you have to make sure that you get back as soon as you can. Don't guess. You really do have to see the ball on the ground. Because if, realistically in this play, it's in the bunter's hands. If the bunter puts the ball down to the third baseman and does his job, well, then you'll be able to walk into third base. If he doesn't do his job, well, depending on your speed, you might still make it, but you don't want to take such a risk that he bunts through it. You're being too aggressive. You're too far off the bag. You're leaning towards third base, and now they come back and they come up throwing to second base. They throw behind you and they pick you off. So, just wanted to go over that for a little bit. I know a lot of people will probably think that this is a boring subject, bunting, but honestly, these are the type of things that win and lose ball games. Late in the game, close games, one-run games, got to get a bunt down, got to execute defensively. So it's huge. It's a huge part of baseball. A lot of people just might overlook it a little bit because it's not that exciting. So let me know if you have any questions. Comment in the section below. Like the video, share it with all your friends, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. and we will talk to you later.